Magandang araw po at kasama po natin ngayon sa The Breaking Point, one of the most visible and most vocal councilors in Baguio City. Of course, Councilor Jose Molintas. Magandang araw po, sir.
Magandang araw sa mga viewers ng Breaking Point.
We are live at Fridge TV and of course at the North Luzon Monitor. And everybody wants to know what's happening in the City Council nowadays. Ano po ba ang nangyayari sa ating mga councilors? Sir Joe, how are our councilors working together and not working together since this committee reorganization?
Yes, after the election of the SK and the barangay officials last November, they elected their president who became the new members in the city council. So, including the IPMR, we became 15.
Yes, kompleto na po tayo.
Kompleto na tayo. Noong una, 14 tayo. So, yung mga majority noon, including the SK and the ABC president, they composed the so-called Magic Eight. They called themselves the Magic Eight. So sila ang humahawak ng majority. And unfortunately,
Itong mga sikat.
sila na nga ang sikat. Unfortunately, sila naman ay anti-administration.
So this is what we call the rising opposition.
O lahat ng mga nadadala sa council, laging sila ang nagdedesisyon. So kami naman, nag-struggle kami para yung aming mga proposal ay lulusot. We have to convince one or two of them to at least join us in whatever proposals that we...
To be on your side,
To be
so
on our
to say.
side, oo.
But the tables have turned.
Ngayon, the tables have turned when the ABC and the IPMR joined us, whereas the ABC president was with them. So,
Yes.
with that, we scheduled a reorganization, and when we went into a votation, we had 8 votes against 7.
Ito na po yung nakakalitong bilangan at kinwestiyon kung paano tayo magbilang lahat.
Actually, nagkamali lang kasi yung advice ng secretary nung tinanong siya, ano bang majority ng 15? Sinagot kasi niya, 9 kasi 1/2 daw is 7.5 plus 1, yun ang nasa batas. Pero ang ginawa niya, ay ni-round off muna niya sa 8, yung 7.5 plus 1. Kaya ako naman nag-object ako, sabi ko, bakit ganyan? Ang sabi ng batas is plus 1.
This happened what month last year, sir?
That was around January.
So start of the year, nagkaroon
Or-
tayo
or
ng bottleneck sa first quarter.
First
So
quarter.
na-question na itong reorg, saka yung bilang. Nag-stand still kasi pumunta pa to sa korte.
Pumunta sila sa korte at saka sa DILG.
Habang nasa korte ito, anong nangyari sa council natin?
So kami, we started working under our committee's new assignment. So for example, Councilor Fianza was elected to become the chair of the Committee on Lands. Nabakante yung Committee on Laws. I was assigned to the Committee on Laws. Ito naman si Councilor Yarano, nabakante ang posisyon niya. And si Popo Cosalan, na being an engineer, was assigned to that chair. And yung kay Councilor Bumugaw on Public Utilities, it was transferred to Councilor Bagbagen.
So ito po yung tinatawag nating shuffle ng assignments, ng committees.
Oh, yes, there were reasons why we asked for it. Because, for example, on the Committee on Lands, marami kang nadidinig na may nangongolekta ng miscellaneous fee na hindi naman dapat. So sabi namin, ito na, malala ng korupsyon. And there are also reports to the mayor that that is happening in the Committee on Lands. Naniningil sila sa mga dapat tulungan na libre, and yet they are made to pay. So sabi namin, siyempre yung present Committee on Lands at that time, we need to remove that so that we will not be included in the allegation that there is corruption that is happening in the Committee on Lands. So pinakamalinis dyan na alam namin magtrabaho, masipag, ay si Councilor Pianza.
No doubt. So, nung nangyayari po itong reshuffling, yung mga nag-o-oppose po sa reshuffling, ano po ang nangyari sa committees nila?
Dahilan sa hindi nila ginagalaw, bumabalik sa amin.
So
For
there was
example,
parang nadodoble yung committee ng ibang konsehal natin dahil ayaw nilang i-recognize na ito na ang kanilang mga reshuffled and reassigned committees.
at in-explain namin sa kanila na hindi ba from the very beginning we approved or we came up with an agreement that we divide the work among ourselves. Kaya nga 15 committees yan, and one should be a chair. Wala naman nagsabi na pwera ako. Kung sinabi sa nila na ayaw niyang committee, ginawa lang namin na 14 or 13. So that is the meaning na it is mandatory that one should
have a
handle
committee.
A committee so that they will not later on complain that they were bullied, that they were not even given
We
a
will go
committee.
to allegations of bullying later, but let's clarify what happened. So nagdesisyon na po ang korte. So the decision came.
Yes.
And the decision was?
The decision dismissed their petition for injunction. So kasi sabi ng korte, that's a political matter. It also happens in the Senate, di ba? Napapalitan ang Senate President. It can also happen in the Congress, and ayaw makialam ng korte sa mga political matters. So, dinismiss nila ang kaso for becoming moot and academic kasi we were already functioning.
You were already working on the reshuffled committees.
Except the three.
Except the three.
No.
Let us name the three. Because everybody knows.
Councilor Yangot, Councilor Yaranon, and Councilor Bagbagen. Councilor Bumugaw.
So let's clarify, hindi po si Bagbagen, si Councilor Bumugaw.
Si Councilor Bagbagen na nag-take over ng Committee on
opo.
Public Utilities.
Hello,
Yung
Councilor
Public
Bagbagen.
Works naman, tinake over ni Councilor Cosalan. And yung Committee on Lands, si Councilor Pianza. So, ang nangyari naman, yung mga committees namin na ibabakit namin, bumabalik yung mga trabaho.
Opo.
Kasi nga, ayaw nilang galawin. So,
Ayaw i-recognize.
So, if you look at our agenda, kami ang pinakamaraming trabaho, committee report, kasi ayaw nilang tanggapin. So, we report on 2 committees.
Yes. So, ito pong tatlong councilors natin na ayaw i-recognize yung reshuffled committees. They don't function in the committee. So, napunta na sa iba. Napunta na sa inyo, kay Councilor Bagbagen, tsaka kay Councilor Fianza.
Councilor Pianza.
So, parang doble trabaho.
Doble-doble ang trabaho namin. Samantalang sila, ayaw nila. At saka, nagsulat pa sila sa DILG na kina-question nila dapat daw hindi boboto ang ABC, SK at IPMR. Kaya natatawa na lang
So,
kami.
non-voting dapat daw ito.
Yun ang gusto nila mangyari. Samantalang sabi namin, nung una, you never raised that.
Do you think it's fair that some councilors have been given the responsibility of handling more committees than others?
We do not even have to ask that. That is common sense that some others are made or burdened to work on 2 committees, whereas the others are just busy campaigning. Diba?
So, ito
So
po
we were
ang-
offering that they should take over, but they continue to refuse. Kaya sabi naman, if you continue to refuse, natalo na nga kayo, then you are creating a bad precedent that one day, maybe if you were the vice mayor, sabi ko, if everybody will say we will not handle it in committee, then you will have to handle all the committees by yourself as the vice mayor. So I think that is the wrong way of interpreting, because the reason why we come up with an internal rule is that we will have an agreement on how to share the work. However, it is also a reality that some committees are more influential or more powerful than others. So ang nangyayari, the majority gets the best committees, and what they do not like, they give it to the others. So even Councilor Pianza was delegated to handle the committee on education, where he has no background. And yet he worked on it and enjoyed it and became productive. Hindi mo pwedeng sasabihin na dahil architect ako, dahil abogado ako, I will choose my committee. Hindi pwede yun.
So there is a perceived power na kasabay ng pag-handle ng mga committees na to.
Yes. That's why yun nga sa Committee on Lands, nung una pa akong councilor in 2004, sabi nila, pag nasa Committee on Lands ka, kung ayaw mong galawin ng papel, may darating mag-o-offer sa'yo na gawin mo ito, gawin mo doon, at sila ay nagbabayad. Kaya sabi namin, kung minsan it's a curse to handle that committee, it's either it will make you or unmake you.
So, na-experience na po, sir, na maging minority at maging ngayon part of the majority. So, both sides of the coin, ramdam na ramdam nyo na.
I was used to be in the minority, especially in 2004. So, kami naman, we do what they ask us to do, and that's it. Hindi ka pwedeng makialam kasi alam mo naman na kahit na ipipilit mo, mamamatay yung proposal mo sa botohan.
So, ganyan po ang nangyayari sa ating konseho ngayon. Merong mga konsehal na humahawak ng more than one committee dahil po doon sa nangyaring hindi pagkakaintindihan sa pag-reshuffle or pag-reorganize ng committee. So that's that. So it's a reality that's happening in the council. And let's go to another point of contention. Itong latest na palitan ng salita tungkol sa building code, Councilor Joe.
Doon sa building code nga is gumagawa tayo ng remedyo kasi some quarters are making an issue out of it as against the mayor. Tulad din ng road recovery, di ba? We have a mayor who has the integrity and who has the will to do what is good for the general welfare. Implement the law. So the Highway Act says that this is the way, then you implement it. Hindi yung you will not implement the law so that the people will not complain. Siya naman, sabi niya, it's for the good of the public. We are complaining about traffic. Then let's recover the road that is rightfully part of the road. We should not allow squatters on the road, di ba? So, the same is true with PD 1096 or the building code. Hindi naman utos ni Mayor yan eh. Mayor, utos yan ng DPWH na na-assigned to implement the building code, but they assign somebody to be the head. So the building official in Baguio is the CBAO.
Mm-hmm.
They were the ones who were appointed to implement the building code. So ang nangyari dyan, ang orphanage, there is something wrong with this building code. Kasi martial law ang kanyang background, it was
1977
passed by the
pa.
President in 1977. Ang effect is retroactive. Hindi niya sinabi na prospective from 1977. Sabi niya, lahat ng building, kahit na built before 1977, are supposed to have a building permit. Ganyan yan. So ngayon, we have a letter of instruction coming from the DPWH that all building officials should implement that to all buildings. Kaya ang ginagawa ngayon ng CBAO is to inform in the barangays na ito ngayon ang trust ng national government na dapat for safety purposes mag-apply kayo ng building permit para mag-guarantee natin na structural safe at saka electrical safety. Kaya maraming mga nasusunog, if you notice, most of this or all of this have no building permit. So that if they, kasi nga old na yan they should rewire at least, and there should be a supervision of a licensed electrical engineer.
So this is the point of contention dito sa recent word war ninyo sa building code with, of course, everybody knows about it on Facebook dahil nagpalitan na po ng statements kayo po ni Councilor Mylene Yaranon.
Tama. Kasi ang position niya is bakit daw nakikialam ang building official sa mga walang building permit? Yun nga ang trabaho nila. Yung mga walang building permit, most especially, are the ones endangered to to a possible collapse, or because it is not structurally safe, or it can cause the fire because of the electrical faulty wirings. So all the more, and because of the report that most of these houses that are being burned due to electrical issues needs to fix up their electrical
This is one of the things that we would like to implement using this building code.
and the building code is the basis. Kaya nga, sabi niya, bakit daw pakikialaman yun? Lahat ng mga bahay ay na merong building permit daw. At saka mga building permit daw, mga title lang, dapat yun lang daw. Sabi ko, trabaho yan ng Sibaw. Sabi niya, dahil architect sila, alam daw nila ang batas. Sabi ko, you point me saan sa building code sinasabi na we should differentiate ang application ng batas. So wala siyang maituro. Sinasabi na parang Biblia daw nila. Sabi ko, para kang pare na sasabihin ng isang nakabasa ng Biblia araw-araw na mas matalino siya sa pare na nag-aral ng 8 years para maging pare.
Pero you have to realize, Councilor Joe, that because of your because of the manner in which you rebuttal Councilor Yeranon, she has alleged that you have been bullying her.
Well, that's the point. We have a group chat among councilors. We have already been debating on that in our group chat as councilors. That's why when I heard her again saying that, I said that coming from an architect teaching us about a difficult question of law, we should refer that to the proper committee. Sabi ko nga sa kanya on our group chat, kung gusto mo, kunin mo yung Committee on Laws. Ayaw naman niya, di ba? So they do not want to handle a committee. They let us work on it, and then they act like they know everything. Kaya nga sabi namin, do not act like just because you're an architect, you know the law. So yun ang diskusyon namin sa group chat namin. Kaya nung nasa council, I blurted out yun na it was nothing to demean the profession of the architects. But what we're saying is, when you are talking about the law, you refer to a lawyer. When you're talking about structural matters, you talk to an engineer or an
Dito
architect.
yata mukhang medyo na-insulto si Councilor Mylene because parang na-cut off pa rin daw siya ni Vice Mayor Oloan.
Sabi nga niya, kinat off daw ni Vice Mayor Uluwan dahil ako raw mapapaya. Sabi ko naman, ako nga dapat magsalita, kaya lang sinabi niya na never mind. It was not directed against her, it was directed against me na tama na muna yung diskusyon. But you know, the attitude of Councilor Yeranon, always speaking on the mayor, the mayor was peeved one time, then he made a statement in the flag ceremony. Sabi niya, medyo sobra na yung ginagawa mo, Councilor Yeranon, para kang masyadong malinis, samantalang alam ko naman, dyan sa SM Market Development, yung grupo niyong architect were bidding to be the ones to come up with the plans, the building plans, and you were charging 10% in doing that, 10% of the cost. So kung 6 billion ang worth ng market development, kukunin nyo ang 600 million. Yun ang nasabi ni Juan. Kaya pumunta siya sa council, making a privileged speech na pagsabihan daw namin mga employees na kaya namin pagsabihan. Imbis na i-direct niya yung speech niya against the mayor, ang speech niya is towards the lowly employees. Kaya sabi ko, nagdebate na naman kami. Sabi ko, kung kaaway mo si mayor, you provoke the mayor, you be the one to deal with him. You file a criminal case if you like. But do not task the city council to be the one to exonerate you or the mayor kasi that's not the proper way. So from then on, nakita ko na ginagawa niyang binubulin niya si mayor kung mabait si mayor. Actually, yung case na yun, she filed a libel case na dismiss.
Yes.
Okay.
The cases that Councilor Mylen Yeralon has that she filed against our good mayor Benjamin Magalong is all public. So Councilor Mylen has also been public about the filing of these cases. And maybe these are the isa ito sa mga punot dulo ng friction na nararamdaman ngayon sa City Council, especially now that we are nearing the end months before our elections.
That's right. Kaya nga, nung nag-file siya ng kaso against the mayor for the housing project at Topinao, Tuba, I made a research. Sabi ko, it's good to be critical, it's good to question, but we should do it the proper way. Hindi yung didiretso ka sa ombudsman. May proper procedure yan. I-check mo muna sa Commission on Audit. Is there any irregularity? Kasi ang Commission on Audit, at least sabihin niya there is something irregular here, and then it gives the respondent a chance to answer. Diba? Mm-hmm. At kung kinlear niya yung transaction, ibig sabihin, sila ang expert eh. That is the reason why they were created. So, ang gagawin mo, file ka ng file lang for purposes of publication, nag-file ka, sino sinisiraan mo? Mabuti sana kung private citizen ka. You're a public official. Tapos gagawin mo yan. Sinong pinapaya mo? The entire city of Baguio. Na ganito pala ang city of Baguio may corruption. So, I think there is also a proper way to do it so that you will let the proper body with expertise on the matter to be the one to say that there is something irregular. Tulad nga nung ginagawa niya na sa Topinao, illegal daw. But weren't they the one? Sabi ko, hindi pa ka-konsyal, in-approve nyo yan, binadgetan nyo yan. Di ba? So, kayo ay sangkot. Kung irregular yan, sangkot kayo. And yet, you clear yourself, ididemanda mo lang si Mayor. Kaya mas maganda sa COA para sasabihin niya sino ang gumawa ng irregularity, sila dapat managot. Ganon ang proper procedure para makita na you are in good faith. Pero ang gagawin mo, file ka ng file, wala akong pakialam anyway, hindi naman ako ika-counter. Mabait ko si Mayor, sabi ko kay Mayor, na pwede mo rin i-counter siya kasi mali naman yung ginagawa niya, sinisiraan ka. Mabait lang si Mayor, does not believe in countering. But sabi niya, confident naman siya na ma-exonerate. Pero yan ang nating na-observe. Yun ang sa akin, ang bullying.
In this administration, Councilor Joe, you're obviously at the same wavelength with our mayor.
The reason I did not run for mayor, you know that I've been running for mayor for at least three times.
Yes.
Because I wanted change.
Mm-hmm.
And when what I wanted as change is being done by the mayor in a more scientific manner. Kung ako, magsalita ako noon, I just want to bring back the clean water in our rivers. Siya, may scientific na explanation siya, pina-check nila, ang daming mga bacteria na pwede tayong idemanda ng La Trinidad, Tuba, dahil hindi natin nililinis ang ating tubig. So, I find that his advocacy and mine is towards the same direction, but his approach is a lot better.
So,
kaya I did not run against him anymore. I joined his team.
So you believe in our city mayor?
Yes, I believe that what he is doing is the right way because the urban decay is a reality.
Maraming naninibago because we have been used to you being a stark opposition. And now have you become the mouthpiece of our administration?
I'm not exactly the mouthpiece. I'm just a counselor. That's why ako naman is, if I believe that our leader is doing well, I fully support them. Dapat hindi yung mga... I wasn't in the opposition, but it was never been my way of continuing criticizing them without basis. I research. Hindi tulad nito, file ka lang ng file, only to be dismissed anyway. But it gives a negative effect against all of us. Dapat pag-isipan mo naman yon. Kasi noon, she was perceived to be eyeing the position of mayorship. Magpapile siya ng mayor. Just like Congressman Go, at the beginning of his term, I was behind him. I was also asking him, you give me a work. I was his consultant during his first year. But after that, I do not believe that he is doing his promise to the city of Baguio to come up with a participatory democracy. So what happened? He came up with a city charter based on his knowledge only, and now it's being used against the city. Kaya gusto mong pumunta tayo dyan kasi yan din ang issue na nire-raise ni Councilor Yaranon.
Pero first we'd like to underscore that probably our Mayor Benjamin Magalong is heaving a very deep sigh of relief that you are on the same side with him now. Because it is very, very hard to be on your bad side, Councilor. So let's go to that city charter.
Yung city charter, kita nyo yung nag-privilege speech si Councilor Fianza, ang daming flow on land issues. Ako naman from the very beginning, kinwestiyon ka, but I was very diplomatic with Congressman Marco. I was the first to ask him to be invited to elaborate on why these provisions are placed in the city charter. So being a friend, he calls me in his hotel. I tell him, but he never told me that I filed already a bill to correct it. Had he done that, maybe I could make more suggestions. So for 3 invitations, he never responded until I gave up. Sabi ko, tama na. If he does not like to come, then it's up to him. Sabi ko, but itong Councilor Yangot, dahil they are very close, sabi na, akong bahala. I will invite him. So in the next invitation, sasabihin nila na tumawag yung secretary kung tatanggapin ba namin yung invitation o hindi. Sagot daw on the other end, huwag niyong tanggapin. So I made a reaction. Sabi ko, that is unethical not to receive communication. You should receive the communication and give an appropriate answer. Whether you do not like to come, we will not force you. So the first time he came there, he was fuming mad at us. Sabi niya, Councilor Molintas and Vice Mayor are forcing me to come. Parang nabubuli daw siya. Sabi ko, we have a very good intention. We were very diplomatic. I did not say na bulok itong city charter. Sabi ko, there is a need to rectify some things. In the first place, sabi ko, first time to see a city charter that is providing provisions for BCDA. Kalaban natin ang BCDA from the very beginning kasi we are not getting our share.
Let's break down the city charter because a lot of our citizens don't really understand how this will affect the everyday lives of Baguio citizens. So how will this charter really affect how we live?
From the very beginning, I made the observation, very deceptive yung tawag nila na revised city charter. If you revise something, parang yung issue ng constitutional amendment, if you revise or amend something, it must be one that is existing, sabi ko. But that is a 1909 city charter that was repealed in the 1983 Local Government Code and again in the 1991 Local Government Code. Kasi itong mga Local Government Code, ginawa nilang to be applied generally and that has been used since 1983 and 1991. Na-improve siya. So, ano ang ina-amend mo? Sabi ko, you should not amend a repealed city charter. You should make a new charter. Now, the difference with a new and a revised one is, if it is revised, the people need not be part of it in approving it. Di ba? But if it is new, there will be a plebiscite. So our right to approve or reject it, na-deny na tayo by the term alone na revise, which is unfair, di ba? Kaya ngayon, we are pointing out the fact that bakit natin lalagay ang provision ng BCDA dyan and expanding the area. Kung ang BCDA law, 570 hectares lang ang sakop nila, ay bakit mo ginawang 625? Saan mo kinuha yung 55 hectares na dinadagdag mo? So, nakakatakot yon. And we have an issue against them to release the 13 barangays from their coverage, di ba?
The
Since
segregation of these barangays is a long-standing issue.
After the Americans left in 1991, it was to be turned over to the government. And in 1994, our people were anxious because sabi nila, papasok ang casino dyan. This is the only way to develop it. So I joined rallies against the development of Camp John Day that will not embody the sentiments of the people. In fact, that group, John Hay People's Alternative Coalition, went to the Supreme Court and was able to emphasize the fact that the city is the host. And the local government code says that any development project within the city should be in coordination with the development plan of the city.
How important is the city charter now that the BCDA has taken over?
That's it. That's why we need to look at the 19 conditionalities at least. Yung unang BCDA, they were already trying to comply. Tapos itong si Congressman Marco, at least on 3 occasions, I heard na sabi niya, walang ngipin ang 19 conditionalities. Sabi ko, why like that? People has gone to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that the 19 conditionalities were already valid, and then the BCDA is not even questioning that anymore in court. Ikaw na congressman nga, nagsasabi, imbis na palakasin mo kung walang ngipin, ay mas lalo mong pinahina dahil sinasabi mo walang ngipin. Binabaliwala mo ang effort ng mga tao since 1994. Kasi nga, if anybody can go there, can buy a piece of land in John Hay, put up with a casino, can you stop them if you do not invoke these agreements? Di ba? And ang mga taga Baguio is, sabi nila, you do gambling outside, big-time gambling outside. But in Camp John Hay, huwag natin gawing casino kasi alam mo naman, nabibiktima ang mga farmers natin from Benguet, nabibiktima ang mga tao. So eventually, sino ang malulugi kung hindi ang mga taga Baguio?
There are whispers that talks about an entertainment center or casino is in the works.
Yan nga ang aming sinusubaybayan, and we are definitely going to oppose that because that is one of the reasons why the 19 conditionalities were placed there, that whatever you want to do, it must pass to the city council to come up with a special economic zone. So if you come up with a special economic zone, you tell us what you intend to do. And it should be, you should consider the sentiment of the host, and that is the 13 barangays and the city of Baguio. At saka isang effect niyan is nung old charter, pag nagbenta tayo ng part of the town site, the money goes to the city government at tayo naman ang nagpo-provide ng operational cost ng 504 committee. Ngayon, yung ginawa nilang revised city charter, hindi clear yan. Parang ang ibig sabihin, the DNR has the sole authority to sell these lands. Mm-hmm. So when they sell it, they get the proceeds. So tulad ng ating mga 13 barangays, kung ibenta nila yung lupa sa kanila, yung proceeds will go to the BCDA. Samantalang mga kalsada, mga problema, maiwan sa Baguio. Ibig sabihin, they will eat the meat and whatever is left, tayo ang magme-maintain. Kaya, kina-question ko yung mga ill effects ng city charter.
What can be done in this city charter now? What can we do?
I have always advocated the repeal because it is null and void, but I do not want to go to court if the people will not support this move. That's why, as I said, pwede pa naman ng legislation eh. So we have been talking, and even some of our colleagues went to the Senate. They were presenting their position, and they were somehow, their feelings, they were being blocked by the congressman nung sinabi niya, huwag nyo nang entertaining muna yan. Total, I will conduct a public consultation in the city of Baguio. Pero nung mag-public consultation siya sa city of Baguio, selected ang mga in-invite niya.
So hindi po para sa lahat?
Hindi lang ngayon. Ginawa niya sa hotel niya. Unfortunately for me, I was assigned by the vice mayor to go because the vice mayor could not go.
So you were there?
When I saw the list, ang invitado is the Committee on Laws chairman and the vice mayor. Unfortunately, the vice mayor cannot go. Unfortunately, Councilor Pianza could not go because he did not receive the notice. So I called him up, sabi ko, you're invited here. Ako naman, I wrote my name there as representative of the vice mayor. So I was listening. I was there. When I was listening, he was not consulting. He was trapping the people to say, okay ba sa inyo ito? Approve ba sa inyo ito? Hindi yung we can give a general statement to give our opposition. He was the one already telling them, and alam mo naman mga kapitan, humihingi sila ng mga project kay congressman. So hindi sila makapagsalita. So sabi, this is not the proper way.
So there was a sort of a railroading.
Yes, and then, he shouted at me and said, kaya nga kita hindi iniimbita eh. Sabi ko, I was surprised. Sabi ko, ay ganun pala ang consultation mo. You select people whom you like to agree only. And a consultation is supposed to be to listen to everybody's position. Ako naman, from the very beginning, nanghingi ka nga ng idea ko. Sabi ko, nakakaya naman to Congressman, para mong binaba naman ang kategorya ng City of Baguio. I-report namin ang ordinance namin to the province of Benguet. That is the worst part of it. Sabi ko, although I understand, siguro, kinopia lang ninyo, cut and paste. But, it's now a law na dapat dalhin ng City Secretary ang ordinance namin to the province of Benguet for approval. Hindi ba nakakatawa yan? Na we are independent from the province of Benguet. Now, you are asking the city secretary to bring all our ordinance for the review. So, have we changed our status? Sabi ko, bidaba mo ba ang kategorya natin? Nagiging component city na tayo, imbis na independent. So, pati siya nagulat. Kaya nga, nung nakita ko yung ginawa niya to correct it, omnibus bill, to correct the provision, ini-explain niya na mali daw yun. I'll cut and paste. Sabi ko, but that is only the...
So there was an acknowledgement na merong mali.
Oh, because he also filed. And the second amendment na ginawa niya is to correct the interpretation that the proceeds of the sale of the lots should not go to the DNR. It should be clarified that it should go to the city. So
it proves that
maganda rin
the
yun.
provisions of that city charter, meron talagang kailangan ng fine-tuning.
Marami. Kaya nga sabi ko, alam mo, when I conduct my consultation, ganito ang nangyari. No? Kasi nung ayaw niya pumunta sa City Council for a dialogue, I conducted the consultation. So I listened to the public. Sabi nila, Sir, pagbasahin mo yung mga preliminaries, the whereas clauses, sabi nila, they referred to the sustainable development of the United Nations, and that will end in 2030. Ganon ba kakitid ang itong charter natin hanggang 2030 lang? And that project of the United Nations will end, di wala na. Sabi ko, mas marunong pang mga taong gumawa ng batas di ba? And then, when I was consulting, especially the 13 barangays, sumingit mga staff na, at least 3 of them. Pupunta sila na gusto magsalita. Sabi ko, what have you to say? You do not belong to the 13 barangays. Ituturo ako ng Pastor Bildan. Sabi, you are out of order. Sabi, wow, sabi ko, even if the Vice Mayor is here, I am the chair. I was the one who made this public consultation. I am the one presiding. Tuturo mo ako. Sino ka? Sabi ko, tuturuan mo ako sa public consultation ng Congress. Sabi ko, they have their own way. Let them do their way. Sabi ko, eto nga, walang consultation, kaya ginagawa ko, tapos makikialam ka. Sabi ko sa kanya. And he was a representative of the congressman. Pumunta itong si Imelda Sedano. Sabi, Sir, ginagawa mo ito kasi tatakbo ka ang congressman. Sabi, anong kinalaman niya? Bakit sa inyo ba ang Congress? Anyway, after Mark go, bakit? Tatakbo ba siya? Hindi naman. Why do you go there and interrupt? Na yung mga hindi issue sa aking public consultation, nilalabas nyo. Kasi naiinsulto sila pag nagsasalita ang tao. Na kabataan representing the youth of Happy Hollow, sabi niya, hindi nito nire-respeto ng charter na ito, ang aming ancestral domain. Sabi na, hindi maganda ito. It is pro-BCD.
Nagpadala ng mga kaalyado
na hindi imbitado.
Na hindi imbitado.
Sa public, kasi ang public consultation na ginawa ko, I invited residents of the 13 barangays. I gave them a copy. Because isa pang misgiving ko kay Congressman, I wrote him a letter. Sabi ko, I saw that you are the author of this. Could you provide at least 1,000 hard copies? Kasi ang hirap sa mga ating residente na magpa-Xerox at saka hindi naman sila techie na marunong magbasa sa internet. Sabi ko.
Were the copies provided?
Hindi man lang sinagot. Kasi naman doon, I was not the committee chair on the committee on laws. So ako lang naman as a member of the committee on laws, I was the one preparing it, then asked the chairman, Councilor Pianza, to write a letter. But I follow up. Pumupunta ako sa office nila kasi we had good relationship. He ran for Congress, I ran for mayor, hindi ba? But nakita ko na on his third term, mukhang hindi niya ginawa yung kanyang commitment to conduct consultation. Ano naman, sabi ko, Congressman, you think that if this had been presented to the people, would they have agreed na ganito ang provision, na ilalagay mo ang provision ng BCDA? That alone, sabi ko, sinekreto nyo ito. Otherwise, kung alam ng tao yan, ako, baka babatuin pa kayo sa 13 barangays. Bakit? Mas importante ang pag-recognize mo sa BCDA kaysa yung pag-recognize mo sa karapatan ng mga residente ng 13 barangays. Sabi ko, so obviously, this did not pass through a consultation and transparent. Kasi nobody knew. Even the mayor did not know. Even the vice mayor and the council did not know. How they came to know that there is such a proposed bill? The office of the president wrote the mayor that we are about to approve the Senate version, the executive legislative
That's the only
body.
time that the executive knew.
Yes, that's why they were only given around 10 days to comment. Itong si Mayor naman, sabi niya, mukhang it passed through you. Tama lahat yan. So, sabi niya, as long as ilagay niyo naman yung recommendation ko na you create more departments.
So, ganun ang nangyari.
So, yun ang sulat ni Mayor. He did not approve it. He came up with the comment and endorsed it. But walang nangyari sa endorsement niya. The city council came up also with 7 points. It did not clear the boundaries. Sabi nila, it did not respect the 19 conditionalities. It did not... 7 yung points na ni-raise ng council. Hindi pa ako konsel noon. But when it went to the office of the president, wala namang ginawa yung presidente.
Hindi napansin yung mga comments.
Hindi
Saka
napansin.
recommendations.
Talagang inignore ni President Duterte. Kaya after 30 days, according to our Constitution, if it is not vetoed, then it is deemed approved.
Yes.
So this is what we call it lapses into a law.
So, lumipas ang 30 days.
Na
Approved.
walang aksyon ang
So,
presidente.
meron na tayong
city charter to be implemented.
ngayon po na mas umiinit na ang usapin ng Camp John Hay dahil nga sa recent takeover ng ating BCDA, malamang ngayon po natin makikita ang magiging effect nitong city charter natin.
Kaya nga, that's why ang ginawa naman namin, we supported the mayor in him reminding them of the 19 constitutionalities na kung aalis kayo dyan, yung mga iiwan nyo, for example, itong mga ating mga public places, just like yung sa Scout Barrio, dapat. The Scout Barrio community had been using that area as a football ground and also a school. Natanggal mga yan. Hindi sila na-turnover. Kaya ganito, sabi namin, Mayor, lahat ng mga even our share from the taxes during their past operation dapat singilin. And the Mayor is doing his part. So we came up with a resolution last Monday to fully support the Mayor in having the 19 conditionalities be
But
implemented.
of course, nung napasa ito, nung dumaan sa opisina ng ating butihing Mayor Benjamin Magalong, itong city charter, nag-issue siya ng kanyang recommendatory at approval.
Hindi, do not use the word approval. He is not to approve it. So he simply came up with a comment that...
Well, the exact words is, it is in this regard, it is our honor and privilege to recommend for the approval of the subject bill by President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. So this was a letter dated March 17, 2022,
correct.
addressed to Attorney Saban.
Yes, and correct. And it is only recommending. Whereas Councilor Yarna is insisting that the mayor approve. Sabi ko, where did you get that idea? I will burn my books if there is such a thing that...
So ito po yung nagiging bone of contention.
Yun ang aming argument sa amin. Kung sinasabi niya that the mayor approve it. Sabi ko, the mayor did not approve. Pinakita niya yung sulat. Sabi ko, where in that letter na sinasabi mo, did the mayor approve? Kasi you are misleading the people. You're shifting the blame. Imbis na you blame the congressman kasi siya ang gumawa, yan ang trabaho niya.
Nililipat sa
Nalilipat mo sa
mayor.
mayor. Ano ba naman yan? Sabi ko, hindi ba yan ang bullying na ginagawa ninyo? You tell the public na walang kamuwang-muwang na it was the mayor who approved it before Congress passed it. That is entirely false.
So it's a difference in narratives because the interpretation of a Councilor Maylenia noon is the narrative that, of course, our Mayor Benjamin Magalong recommended the approval of this city charter as evidenced in the letter sent. But ang contention naman po ng ating guest ngayon, ang si Councilor Jomol, hindi ito nagtatantamount to an approval. Tama?
Hindi, because he does not approve. He was only asked to comment within a short period of time.
Pero sir, ano pa ang magagawa nitong debating to? Nagkaroon na nga tayo ng city charter dahil hindi na kinomentan, hindi na na-veto. So ano na po ang pwede nating gawin ngayon? Ito ba ang mag-recommend ng repeal?
Yan nga, I passed a proposed resolution to the council asking them to unite in calling for the repeal of the revised city
Hindi
charter.
ba tayo magmumukhang nakakatawa nun? Dahil presupposing kasi dumaan sa lahat ng sektor natin ito tapos biglang ito na si Baguio. Palitan na lang pala natin.
Hindi nga yan ang nakakatawa dyan kasi nga, obviously there was no consultation among the stakeholders. Kasi sabi ko nga, if there were consultations
Hindi lilipad
that the
ito.
entire city of Baguio or the city council was called, sabi nila, tinawagan lang si Councilor Cosalan to go, but he did not see the entire draft or he did not see the process. Kasi nga, when you come up with a bill, you furnish everybody a copy. And then the people who are interested to follow up will see how it is going to be improved by by Congress. Ganun yan eh. May first reading, second reading, third reading. How can we did not know that?
So
We
ngayon,
only came to know nung nandun na sa office of the president. So, now,
we
you tell
will
me.
intimate that in the request for repeal.
Oh, I said that because the first thing that attracted me was when I was looking at the case of BCDA versus the city of Baguio when it was Mayor Bautista or Mayor Dumugan who was trying to send the treasurer to go and collect taxes, business taxes inside Camp Janay. They were not allowed to enter. Kaya na-insulto yung mga mayors natin. So, on record, ang nakita ko sa Supreme Court decision, it was Mayor Dumugan, but according to the camp of former Mayor Bautista, sila rin daw ang nagumpisa. So yun, na-insulto sila dahil ayaw nang papasukin ng Camp Janay Management ang ating treasurer to go and first list down all the businesses inside and then ask them to get a business permit.
I think
So when our city was insisting, they went to the Supreme Court to stop the city of Baguio from collecting taxes. And the decision said, you are invoking a law that is applicable only in Subic. Yung BCDA law, iba yung Subic Development Authority.
iba din ang
Yung Camp Janay at saka yung sa La Union, ang una na magkasama. Meron silang separate na batas. So dito, unfortunately, hindi nakalagay na exempted sila from the coverage of the taxes. Parang may tax relief ang mga negosyo sa Clark and Subic, but not in Baguio City. Kaya that is what the Supreme Court said. Kaya nagtaka ako, nung sa motion for reconsideration ng BCDA, sinabi na, sa city charter nga ng City of Baguio na pumasa, nire-recognize na independent ang BCDA. Kaya sabi na, this one effect. Imbis na mangolekta tayo ng business taxes, yan ang isang nawawala.
I think lahat ng administrasyon na dumaan magmula kay former Mayor Reynaldo Bautista hanggang sa ating present administration ay talagang kinakalampag ang Camp Janay or ang BCDA sa isyong ito. This has been a long-standing issue and we will see the effect of this city charter that was inadvertently passed despite allegations na kulang ito sa public consultations. Ngayon, na nagtitake over na ang BCDA and the city, of course, would want to reap the long-standing requests and demands that we have. Sir, ano nga ba, let's close this city charter issue. What are we supposed to do now? And who has the power to ask for a repeal?
Well, first, it should be the congressman's office. That's why kahit na secretly pinasa nila yan, nung nire-raise namin mga issues, dapat ginawa niya, inopen niya for consultation at lahat ng mga feedback ng tao, dapat yun ang nilagay niya. Sa kanya, pinipili niya at pinoprotektahan pa rin niya ang BCDA. Sabi nga namin, explain to us, where will you get the additional 55 hectares to give to BCDA?
And that's a long-standing fear now because there are added hectares for them to
get
develop.
Kaya ang tingin ko nga dyan, kukunin pa nila ang EPSA, kukunin pa nila ang Voice of America, and later on, pati yung ambassador's cottage. Yun lang ang hindi na ilagay sa BCDA law because as you know, these are supposed to be an extension of the American government. So yun ang tingin namin na hindi. Dapat if we review the military bases agreement, you will see that there is a commitment on the part of the American government to give it back to the city of Baguio once they will not use it. Kaya yun din ang pwede nating invoke. Kaya it really needs a congressional act to correct these ones because yung special economic zone ng John Hay na na-approve is only 288.1 hectares.
But now,
yan, lumalawak, 625. So, sabi namin na napakamali nito. It was not only carefully studied, it was designed to favor BCDA. Kaya sabi ko nga lang, na very simple na question ko, did you present that to the 13 barangays? And if you did they say okay? Hindi niya ako masagot because obviously they did not do that. And when I was doing that, they tried to sabotage my consultation. Kaya doon ako medyo nagalit. Aside from the fact na nung pinadala ako ni Vice Mayor to attend the consultation on this matter, on the amendment, it came from his mouth that he selects people to go there. And sabi ko, that is not the proper consultation. Sabi ko, it should be public. Lalo na kung gagamitan ng pera ng gobyerno, dadalin mo sa hotel mo, so doble-doble, tripling kabig mo. Di ba? Di ba? Kung pera ng gobyerno ang ginagamit mo, sa hotel mo pa, di yayaman ka pa. Pero sekreto pa yan.
Tinatawagan po natin ang opisina ng ating butihing Congressman Mark Go. If you would like to rebuttal and grace the show, The Breaking Point, we are open to accept you and welcome you here to be able to air your side of the story. And of course, this also extends to Councilor Mylene Yaranon. Dahil po nabigyan natin ng oportunidad ngayon si Councilor Joe, it does not mean that we are not open to others' opinions and insights. Councilor Joe, it means mukhang hindi kayo talaga nagkaka-wavelength ngayon ni Councilor Yaranon at ni Congressman Mark Go. Obviously.
Yun ang nangyayari sa City Council. Yung mga matatalinong konsyal doon, nung una nakita ko, bilib ako sa kanilang utak. Pero nung filing ng candidacy, they joined the Go-Go team. Iba na ang kanilang, hindi na rational, no? Tignan mo, when we passed the Human Rights Defenders Ordinance, 5 of them abstained. Pero wala na yung supportan nila sa human rights. No? Although they did not object, but
they abstained, they were silent on the vote.
It means to say that just because we are the ones who were pushing for it, ayaw nilang mag-succeed itong ginagawa natin. Kaya ang maganda doon, I appreciate the fact that Councilor Rocky Aliping voted because I was worried. Wala si Councilor Fariñas. She is on leave. She is abroad. Tapos lumabas din sandali itong si Councilor IPMR Maximo Hilario. And also Councilor Bumugaw voted. Kaya nakita namin na siguradong papasa. But the others, I do not know if they were raising their hands, but I saw them abstain. Kaya nilagay ko sa akin sulat, there were 5 who abstained. Kaya nire-review namin ni Councilor Art yung ordinance na napirmaan, mukhang parang 3 lang nag-abstain.
Of course, landmark talaga itong Human Rights Defenders Act natin. And let's go to this landmark ordinance that we have passed during this administration. How do you think this would change the climate in Baguio City?
First of all,
Especially for our activists and
First
human
of
rights
all,
defenders.
it's a victory because during the time of President Duterte, nakita natin na mas malakas yung influence at ang human rights violations against human rights defenders, yung red tagging more particularly in the funding of the NTF-ELCAC. It was geared towards silencing the opposition. Once they disagree with you, they will say that you belong to the communist movement. So their greatest mistake was even to red tag the mayor himself, who was one time a 2-star general and served the country. Itong mga spokesman ng NTF-ELCAC, napakakwan nila. Wala silang respeto sa mga accomplishment ng mga tao na talaga nagsilbi sa bayan. Kaya I am happy now that just like in the Quadcom, people are coming out. So kung siguro panahon noon yan na malakas ang red tagging, baka kung pupunta ka magtitistigo doon, the next time you move out, ikaw ay mare-red tag na. So dito sa Baguio, the human rights defenders will feel safer. And compared to other ones na may mga nauna na, like I think it was Basilan, nauna sila. Ang ating Human Rights Defenders Ordinance, meron siyang penal provision na pwede silang criminally be charged and be fined. So yun ang kaibahan natin. Almost the same naman kasi kinopya naman natin lahat ng mga international instruments, and we base it also on the proposed Human Rights Defenders Act in Congress, but hindi pumapasa-pasa kasi nga kakaiba itong ating mga Congress. They have so many obligations to do, and yet because of the reality that most of them are for status quo, they refuse to come up with a human rights defenders law. They refuse to come up with an anti-dynasty law. So makikita mo na they are not going to push for that. In fact, yun ang justification kung bakit tumatakbo ang mag-asawang Congressman Go for mayor and Solgo for
Bago po natin
congressman.
puntahan itong Anti-Political Dynasty Act, para po dun sa mga hindi nakakaalam, Baguio City has been picked by our UN Special Rapporteur Khan for her visit last year dahil po sa dami ng human rights violations experienced not only by human rights advocates but of course the media. Kasama po itong mga advocates natin, and City Hall was a proud host to our UN Rapporteur during that time dahil dito po nagtipon-tipon ang ating mga aktivista at mga advocates para kausapin ang ating UN Rapporteur. Tama po ba, sir?
Tama, at saka actually pati nga ako
Hindi po kayo bago sa pagre-red tag. Pati
Hindi.
po ang ating mayor na red tag na rin.
Hindi lang red tag sa akin mayroon pang proscription case pinail sa akin sa Regional Trial Court sa Manila. Pero napadismiss naman natin. Sabi, andito lang kami. Tapos sasabihin nyo na at large kami. Hindi totoo yan. Sinungaling kung sino man ang gumagawa ng mga ganyan. They're really, sabi ko, they are the extreme. And
So itong Human Rights Defenders Act, ano po ba ang magagawa nito para sa atin ngayon?
well, we pave way for the policy for the executive department to strengthen the coordination on the reporting of human rights. Also, human rights defenders, if there are complaints, they can pass it through the barangay and then coordinate it with the regional office. of the Commission on Human Rights. We are also expecting the mayor to put in some funding for more trainings and seminars to our barangay officials. We are also looking for a way to come up with the city being a haven for
Do you think
human rights
that it will
defenders.
stop the police from harassing our human rights defenders and our media personnel?
Well, yan ang maganda sa atin. Na-observe nila na talagang sa Baguio City there is freedom of speech, that we can say these things, and that if there are violations, kaya natin na i-hold accountable ang mga pulis natin. Kaya ka na-red tag si Mayor is nung nakita niya na ang daming poster dyan, especially during election, na
Tinatanggal niya.
maligning some candidates. Sabi niya, it's unfair na we do that. So dapat ibabawal natin yan. Let people campaign freely and be able to select their representatives, their officials, na hindi yung nagagamit ang ating military and ating police the paninira. Sila rin, hindi nila alam yan. It's only the court that can declare an act to be illegal. So, ang maganda dyan, when we also had a dialogue with the Philippine Army, General De La Cruz, sabi na, hindi na kami tulad noon na kami ay taga-implement ng program ng NTF-ELCAC dito sa Cordillera. Ang sa amin is to focus on the West Philippine Sea. Kaya ako naman readily, I said, I'm also a reserve officer. I graduated a 4-year course in the ROTC. And if you say that all reservists should go and help and serve to defend the country against the invasion of China, I will be willing to join. So maganda yung dialogue na yan, na klaro na hindi na kami tulad noon na we are part of the ELCAC here in Baguio City. So with that, it's also a victory that even the ELCAC, they should use their funds to really support the programs of communities that are extremely poor.
So the passing of the Human Rights Defenders Act in Baguio City is, of course, welcomed by groups and, of course, the media. So we are happy about that development in the council.
Thank you.
Nanonood po pala ngayon ang ating IPMR, si Maximo Hilario Edwin Jr. Shout out po kay IPMR. Baka naman po sa susunod gusto niyong mag-guest at pag-usapan natin ang masalimuot na topic ng land.
Ancestral land.
Ancestral land po. At ikwento niyo po sa atin ang nangyaring landmark case ninyo, sir. Councilor Joe, let's go to your advocacy against the anti-political dynasties. I know that we will be talking about our congressman and his lovely wife, so I'll go in this topic. So before Councilor Joe talks about this, I am also inviting again our Congressman Mark Go, and of course Ma'am Sol Go, if you would like to guest in the Breaking Point, we are also welcoming you. Go ahead, sir. Ano po ang advocacy natin dito sa anti-political dynasty?
Nasa constitution yan, at alam naman natin na pinagbabawal ng ating constitution na binoto natin na ma-aproban, no?
Pero po ang definition ng isang dynasty ay meron na. So, technically, dynasty in the making pa lang ito. Budding dynasty.
Pero culturally, sa mga taga Baguio, Benguet, that's why we are peaceful, kasi we respect, no? Pinag-aaral natin mga anak natin to become future leaders. Tapos ngayon sasabihin natin kami lang ang qualified. Ayun ang mensahe ng pag-file ng mag-asawa na gusto nilang maging mayor at saka congressman at the same time. Nakaka-insulto ba naman sa ating mga kabataan at tayong mga matatanda? A dynasty, kahit na ang argument nila very peaceful daw ang dynasty, it's very peaceful on the surface. Pero you go to these areas na may mga dynasty, patayan ang nangyayari. And we do not like violence during election dito sa Baguio. But if they will have a dynasty and people get frustrated, it might lead to violence. And that is what we do not like. That's why sila dapat, kung meron silang isip at konsensya, no? Kung natin Ilocano, basit lang ti kanan na ti adanakom na maliit na nga ang pagkain, gusto nyo pang suluin. Parang ganun ang message ng mga Ilocano. Kami naman sa Ibaloy, sabi namin, ansan. It means, that's too much.
So you
Gusto
think
nyo,
that
lahat
the
ng anak
congressman
nyo,
and his wife is going a little too much?
not a little too, that's really too much. Even their children are running for a party list. Ano ba naman yan? Parang gusto nyong gawin naman na family business ang governance. You know, ngayon pa lang may reklamo na mga ibang tao sa City Hall. Yung mga anak daw ni Congressman, naglilibot sila. You know, tulad ng ginagawa ni Congressman, takot na takot ng mga head ng DPWH, itong DSWD, itong DOL. Kaya kahit na kinikriticize natin itong AKAP, AX, nangyayari pa rin na sila nagpapatakbo. Alam natin yan, alam ng media yan, pati sila nga is natawag lang sa G1 Hotel at napapramisan na sila ng AKAP. No? We have nothing against that release of AKAP, pero kung ganito na nangyayari, that they are now the ones making it appear like it is their money, ay hindi maganda yan. I think even the media were insulted.
Of course. I was part of the group invited in that very faithful G1 Hotel meeting.
Yes, that's why it's already an evidence. And yet, takot ang ating mga national agencies to speak against it.
Do you think that the Baguio citizenry is ready to speak up against these alleged wrongdoings? Kaya na ba na magsalita ng taga Baguio against this?
Yes, even in the...
We are known to be very peaceful, medyo shy, medyo reserved.
Even in Facebook, meron na silang group na anti-dynasty, anti-political dynasty. At saka when I go around our senior citizens, they will whisper to you that, ano ba naman ito? Sabi nila. Hindi natin ginagawa ito noon, ngayon pa natin gagawin. Napaka-modelo ng Baguio Benguet na very peaceful ang election, tapos ganyan.
Councilor Joe, with your revelations tonight, hindi naman lingid sa kaalaman ng ating mga tagapanood. Marami kang nababangga sa mga statements mo. Do you fear that you are unliked now?
Sa akin nga, my only campaign is to be elected based on what they believe I represent. So when I was elected there to be a human rights lawyer, I do not only speak as a human rights lawyer, I do actions that can even have me removed. For example, I'm handling the cases of those who are declared as terrorists without due process. No?
Yes.
You know, they're not questioning my capacity as being a counsel at the same time member of the city council. And sabi ko, no, if I have to be the chair on human rights and I take oath during the Human Rights Day that I will do my best to defend every citizen against human rights violation, I'll do it even if you will sue me administratively, sabi ko. So, ang mga tao naman, kung ayaw nila akong iboto dahil tulad ni Mayor, we are against corruption, tulad din ni Mayor Yaranon noon, na kinasama ko rin noon, we are against corruption. Yan ang dahilan kung bakit tayo naghihirap. So, even if something happens to me, I would be happy na I voice out the sentiment of the people that we are very much indebted, hindi pa napapanganak, marami ng utang, kaya naghihirap ang Pilipino dahil sa corruption. So it starts somewhere, and if people do not speak openly about it, it means they are the ones enjoying or are having a share in this corrupt system.
Let's go back to the shared advocacy you have with Councilor Mylene, who also is one of my favorite councilors because I've covered former Mayor Braulio Yaranon and even her mom. So, malapit din sa puso ko si Councilor Mylene. Shared ang advocacy ninyo, sir, on corruption. What do you think happened that this relationship you had with her has come to this bickering?
In fact, we belong to the Liberal Party.
Of course, yes. Everybody knows that you're part of the Liberal.
She was our chairman during the last
ano
election.
Po ba ang nangyari at mukhang hindi na kayo nagkaintindihan magmula nung kampanya?
I think it was because of personal ambition that she wanted to become the next mayor at that time until she had to give way to these more moneyed people who wanted to run for
Do you think that
Congress
relationship is still
and mayor.
repairable? Pwede pa ba kayong magkaintindihan ni Councilor Mylene?
Wala naman akong personal. Ang sa akin nga is, for example, you should do as you say. You want fairness, but be responsible. Parehas tayo na kontra sa corruption. Kung may nakita kang corruption, you do it the proper way. Kasi hindi tayo expert. Ang expert dyan is the Commission on Audit. Pag sinabi ng Commission on Audit na ganito, may corruption na nangyayari, then I have to respect them kasi yan ang trabaho nila. Pero kung ako is para lang may publish ako na dinidemanda ko ang mayor para nasa newspaper ako na ako ay matapang na nagpapal ng kaso kontra sa mayor na wala naman sapat na ebidensya. Ano? Yun ay sa akin, kalokohan yun. Hindi yung tunay na anti-corruption. Kung anti-corruption ka, tignan mo ang sarili mo. Sa Tupinao case, kayo ang nag-approve ng ma-implement. Napakagandang project doon. I would have saluted them, all of them. They were the first in the region to be able to go on land banking. Yung tinatawag natin na land banking project na bibili tayo ng properties outside and for the benefit of our constituents kasi nga puno na ang Baguio City, kung maaari, mag-housing tayo sa labas.
So hindi pa huli ang lahat. Wala namang permanenteng magkaaway at wala ding permanenteng magkaibigan sa politika. Alam naman po nating lahat yan.
Kaya, even the father, ako ang number one defender sa kanya nang nasa city council ako. Everybody was against him except Councilor Oruan at that time and Councilor Waycan. Tatatlo kami na nakikipagsagutan para lang hindi
Of course, we
masuspend.
remember the legacy of former Mayor Braulio Yaranon. So, tandang-tanda po natin ang ating laban sa Jadewell at kasama po kayo doon. Tama, sir?
Di ba, hinihila-hila pa ako sa t-shirt ko, nasa ABS-CBN
Para
noon.
sa mga nakakaalala ng laban against Jadewell, nangunguna po dito ang tatay ni Councilor Mylene, si former Mayor Braulio Yaranon na kasama po dito si Councilor John nung panahon na yun.
Kaya nga, sabi ko, it's very ironical that even those councilors who had been putting down his father, sila na nga nakasama niya. Alam mo, isa sa mga experience ko noon, I was forced to head the committee on the search for Miss Baguio because when it was assigned to Councilor Pinky Rondes, biglang walang pondo. No? So, sabi, nag-privilege speech ngayon itong mga kasama ng administration na simple lang na year in, year out na activity, hindi mo pa ma-implement. So, sabi ni Mayor Yaranon, kindly be the one to take charge. So when I conducted consultation, what's the problem? Sabi nila, kahit man lang pondo for the prices, hindi pa may labas, napapaya tayo. So that's my condition with the mayor then, na i-remedyo mo po ang 100,000 na ibibigay natin sa mga mananalo kasi nakakayangan naman. They spend also money to participate and then they do not get anything. So that is how I supported him. When he was suspended, we were volunteering. We will fight for you. We will get an injunction. Pero sabi niya,
That's the short-lived stint of former Mayor Yaranon.
we were with Bishop Senson at the time, so we are fully supporting him.
So we're going back a trip on memory lane. Dahil
Yeah.
napaka-memorable ng mga taon na yun because Baguio City was included in the fight against this Jadewell, this parking group na sumubok magtayo ng pay parking nung panahon na yon. So kabisado po ni Councilor Joy yung panahon ng Jadewell dahil nasa forefront sila ni Mayor Yaranon nung time na yon.
And that is the reason why I joined politics because nakikita ko sa Baguio, napaprivatize ng lahat. Kaya ang comment ko na, pinrivatize ang kalsada, binigay sa Jadewell. Pinrivatize ang palengke, binigay sa Uniwide. Pinrivatize ang basura, binigay nila sa isang korporasyon na kumuha ng milyon-milyon ng pera. Tapos ngayon na, mahuhulog lang pala, may mamamatay pa. Sabi ko, ipa-privatize nila, i-propose nila privatize ang Baguio General Hospital. Ay naku, sabi ko, i-privatize na lang din yung City Hall. Kasi hindi natin kayang patakbuhin ng ating affairs.
So napag-usapan na po natin si Congressman at si Ma'am Sol, pati po si Councilor Mylene at ang kanyang namayapang ama, si former Mayor Yeranon. Sir, napag-usapan ng privatization. Mainit na mainit ang usapan ngayon sa palengke. Are you for this PPP project? And does that mean that you are for SM taking over our market?
Ako nga, when I'm trying to study this PPP, wala tayong magawa, di ba, nangyari dyan even before SM's proposal.
Pwede po ba yung wala tayong magawa, sir?
Hindi. Ibibigay na sana nila sa Robinsons under the same terms na privatization. Kaya even the mayor disapproved it. So when SM came here, apparently it's not privatization, but it's more for an investment really to put up a modernized market. Yan ang aking information. And that 70% should be run by the city, so it's not privatization, unlike the past
So iba po.
proposal. So ang sa akin, if that is true, kasi I do not see any document. Kasi alam niyo ang PPP, it has to be, there part of it which is cannot be divulged. It is confidential.
It's part of the non-disclosure agreement na kinaiinisan na po ng lahat ngayon dahil wala nga tayong pwedeng malaman, walang pwedeng pag-usapan.
Hindi naman, that's not true. Ang kondito is siyempre, you have to consider the fact that even if we approve it in the City Council, it will be subject to a Swiss challenge. Naintindihan ba natin ang Swiss challenge? Ibig sabihin doon, kung na-approve that, makikita na in public, may pwedeng company na papasok, sasabihin na, I will match that proposal and improve on it. So, kawawa naman yung nagtrabaho na nag-propose, pwede pa palang mag-antay ka na lang.
Ang kinakatakot ng lahat ay baka walang kumpanyang makatap sa offer ng SM.
If that is going to happen, alisin natin ang tatak na SM. If we have a market 6 billion worth, the city will run 70% of it. I will fight for a cheaper rental. Kasi wala tayong investment, wala tayong babawin, di ba? Let the investor recover it in 50 to 100 years.
Ayon naman po sa ating city administrator, ang huling salita, ang huling approval naman po ay mapupunta na naman sa ating city council. So the last say will always be the council.
Well, let me just say that I have a proposal, a project proposal to have a public consultation on the 20th of February. Kasi
on the market?
Ayaw kong antayin yung lalapit sa amin yung proposal, and then we will be given 120 days to conduct a public consultation.
This is on the city market, February 20.
Uunahan ko na sila. I have already caused the invitation to of course the PPP center sa national office.
Darating dapat sila.
Darating sila, the executive department, and also SM if they are willing to come up, so that siyempre sila ang pwedeng mag-divulge ng kaya nilang i-divulge. So that we can also ask the public to start asking their questions.
So nakakasana ito sa Feb 20?
February 20.
Okay.
And approved na yun, it will be at the convention center.
I hope the people will attend this public consultation.
Yes, we will make it very open. That's why we're anticipating at least 300 people to attend. Kasi initial lang, nilagay ko initial.
Opo.
Kasi nga ayaw ko na ma-accuse later on na nare-railroad. Ang sa akin is, I will just listen. I will not even talk so much. I would like to hear from the people after they hear what the proposal is all about. Di ba? Kasi tulad ng decongestion, zero knowledge ako dyan. Ang alam ko lang is, we want to solve the traffic problem. Somebody came in, they have a proposal na sabi nila, you want to avoid traffic in the center, you recommend the collection of fish during a certain hour para yung pinakamabigat na traffic,
So-
yun mo ilagay yung congestion fee na kung gusto nyo dumaan during that hour, it's a privilege to pass through the magbabayad. Kayo lang, naintindihan ko.
These are the big ticket projects na binabrandish ng ating administration because we have 7 big ticket projects under the PPP. At 2 of these projects are very controversial. Ito pong katatapos na topic natin on MPT mobility with Ted Tan, and of course itong PPP on our market na ang original proponent status po ay nai-award sa SM. So
Hindi pa naman award sa SM. Ang ibig sabihin nga niyan is a proponent goes to the PPP center or to the city administrator and submit a proposal na they will infuse this amount for a certain project, let's say market. And then it will undergo several process where we must first convince all our barangay officials who are member of the City Development Council, and if they approve the concept, then they will pass it to us for our study. And if we vote on it favorably, then it will be subject to a Swiss challenge. That is how it's gonna be. If there is nobody interested to take over, then it goes to SM.
yes.
But ang sa akin lang is, one thing is clear about me. I do not want privatization and I don't want mollification. So that if I see that these are two things that is not acceptable to the city of Baguio, because privatization is just like what happened in the Bern area.
Yes.
Now owned by Center Mall, that is supposed to be a burned market area at that time. None of those victims of the fire were able to go back because when it's privatized, the rentals are determined by the
And sadly, the rentals doon sa burned area now, Center Mall, ay hindi na kayanan ng ating mga
hindi kaya.
mamamayan. So you are against privatization and mollification.
Yes, I am
Isn't
against
this the SM proposal?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
So
Honestly,
kapag nakita natin
pag nakita natin na is a concept of privatization and mollification, I will definitely go against it. But if I will see that we maintain the privilege of having it be run, I will see to it that it will be cheaper rental so that there will be cheaper products. And
So
it
that's a
should be-
promise from Councilor Molintas. Pag nakakita siya ng a whiff of privatization and mollification,
I will object.
yan po. We will have to see how this pans out. Sir, when was your last stint as councilor? 2004, tama?
2004 until 2007.
Did you foresee that the issues of the city will be at this level at this time? Because this is your comeback as a legislator, tama? Masyado bang maraming ang nag-iba?
I have to admit na this were what we wanted to happen before. Unlike noon nga, the city council were all held by a majority who were all pro the administration and that there was no more consultation from the public. Kaya yun ang aming call for change.
Nung panahon na
Nung
yon, you're
panahon
part
na
of the
yun.
minority then.
And we were part of the minority. Wala kami magawa kasi nga kung botohan, talo kami, tatatlo kami.
Ngayon pong kayo ay part of the majority, you're
Ngayon-
being accused as a bully.
Yan ang mahirap nga sa kanila eh. When the law was applicable, when the law was there and they were the ones enjoying it, they did not question things. Ano? For example, yun nga, bumoto ang SK at ABC to their favor. They did not question that. And now they go to the DILG questioning it. I said,
Why these are voting? Ang
Why
ating
are they
SK at
voting?
ang ating ABC.
Nung pabor sa kanila, no question. Ngayon na hindi pabor sa kanila, gusto nilang alisin ang boto ng ating mga ex-officio members.
Para sa mga sumusubaybay po sa career ni Councilor Molintas, ganito po ang kanyang itsura talaga kapag natutuwa na siya dun sa mga topic na pinag-uusapan. There's a certain smirk about him na kuminsan kinatutuo at kinaiinisan ng ating mga kasamahan sa Baguio. Councilor Joe, we have talked about a lot of topics and you have fired shots to a lot of people. Can you please give us a rundown of your priorities as a councilor now and what you foresee for Baguio City? Because there's a lot of issues Baguio City is facing now. And you're one of the most vocal councilors that we have. Ano po ba ang estado ng ating syudad ngayon and what should our people be worried about? Especially now na mag-election na. I give you the floor.
Thank you, Malen. Basta ang sa akin naman is, I see that we are going towards development. In fact, ang lagi natin sinasabi na we should not go towards overdevelopment and neglect our responsibilities to our people and our neighbor, no? Napakadumi ng ating mga rivers and that there was one good proposal from the mayor. Although utang tayo, kayang-kaya rin bayaran para maayos natin ang ating mga sewerage system. Ganito, ito ang mga dapat ginagawa ng mga naunang opisyal natin, prepare for urbanization. There was no preparation like that I've seen done by the Americans before they came to Baguio. Tingnan mo, bakit may sanitary camp? Kasi kahit na 1,000 people lang noon, they knew that they had to properly dispose of the waste.
Mhm.
Bakit noon ay meron tayong mga fire hydrants sa sentro? Because they foresaw that there will be accidental fire, ano? So ready sila to address it. So they were very prepared. So that dapat ang city of Baguio is going also towards preparation against all eventualities, against earthquake and all other things, even against terrorism, etc. So these are the matters that we need to do, and also even too much tourism. Over tourism kasi people are complaining na no more space for us na taga Baguio. Kaya I'm really concerned also about that. But then ngayon ko lang kasi nakita yung klaseng leadership ni Mayor na tingnan mo yung botanical garden na noon ay white elephant, hindi pinapansin ng ating mga kwan. Pero ngayon it's gaining around 5 million per week.
It's a top earner now.
It's a top 5 million per week during these peak seasons. Kaya nakita natin yung potential na kung may integridad ang ating leader, investments will also come. Yan ang pinakamaganda kung bakit alam ang mga investors from coming to the Philippines dahil sa gulo na nangyayari na korupsyon. Tumataas tayo sa one of the most corrupt country. Kaya nga at least sa Baguio City, I can honestly say that our government is against corruption. Kaya nga kami sa City Council, nadidinig namin na ganito nangyayari. That's why we wanted reorganization.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the reason. We want to clean the city from the City Council from being charged as being involved in corruption. And isa nga dyan is yung tungkol sa land issues. And when Councilor Pianza took over, he can say that he heard people during his consultation na meron nagbabayad dyan ng miscellaneous fee or whatever that is. Kung gusto mo raw iparelease ang mga ating watershed at gawin mo ng housing, nakakawawa naman tayo, mawawala na tayo ng mga watershed. So there are also bills in Congress na ganyan. So ang tingin natin is that's too much politicking at the expense of our environment. Kaya nandun din sa city charter natin ng mga ganyan na even BCDA will be the one to be running the forested area.
So these are the things to look out for.
Kasi let's not allow our control over our environment. Dapat meron pa rin tayong say. And that we should be transparent. No? Sabi nila, transparent sila. Bakit hindi nila nilalabas ito? They have passed a bill na mabawasan pa ang ating Buyog watershed. So, imbis to, ang ginagawa natin is we are protecting it from further.
Babawas pa.
Babawas pa. Sabi ko, nagkakaroon tayo ng kontra sa legislature sa city. Kasi yung congressman natin does not consult the city. In fact, sabi ko nga, that was the first time I came to know that was his first time to come to the city council. Supposed to be noon, may bill siya, papakita niya, ano masasabi niya dito. Tapos naka-folder pang napakalinis. And I was asking for a copy of the city charter.
Wala.
Ayaw nila magbigay. Sabi na, you search from the internet. No, that's not the attitude.
So, mukhang-
You have money for that. And yet, where do you bring your money? Sabi ko sa city council.
Maybe we are looking at ito po, preparation for all things. Of course, we are looking
Planning.
at over tourism. Of course, we're looking out of this
Yes.
for this. We are continuing the fight against corruption, and we are continuing the scrutiny over our city charter. Of course, we also advocate for consultation. Tama, sir?
And also, I can foresee that we need to rely on our neighboring
The Bliss.
municipalities, the
Oo.
Bliss. I was happy to see that it also laps into a law, having a Bliss Development Authority. But I was again frustrated. There's no funding. That's why it has not really started. We were part in coming up with the IRR. And that's the time we came to know na wala palang pondo.
So, hindi rin makagalaw muna.
Gagawa tayo dahil popular na dapat meron tayong Bliss. Pero wala naman pondo. Ngayon, tingnan natin ang budget. Saan napupunta ang budget? Hindi naman dito sa Bliss. Napupunta ito sa mga ayuda. Di ba? Na hindi permanenteng solusyon. Samantala, ang mga permanenteng solusyon sa problema sa traffic natin ay involve natin ang neighbors natin. Para mas gagawa pa tayo ng mga exit roads
Traffic.
para detour, para naman mais ang traffic dito sa sentro, ma-develop naman ang mga municipalities around us para mga turista pwedeng dumiretso doon, hindi sa Baguio lang.
Magmula noong 2004, mukhang nadagdagan ang issues na kailangan bantayan ng taga Baguio, Sir Joe.
That's right. Kaya nga, yan ang challenge sa leadership, and it starts with having an executive like the mayor who has the integrity na he can attract investors. So, ang sa akin lang naman is, siyempre kung may investor, they come not only to give money, they came here to make money also. So ang sa atin naman, pakinggan muna natin yung proposal before we condemn. Hindi pa lang natin alam, kinokontra na natin. Dapat alamin natin lahat so that yung mga package na pwede, gamitin natin. Naisip ko nga, yun ang congestion fee sa Session Road. Sabi ko, supposing, kaya, lahat ng entry sa Benguet, going towards Baguio, lahat ng mga vehicles na papasok na hindi registered dito sa Baguio ay magbayad ng environmental fee or congestion fee. Di ba?
So babalik rin naman natin ngayon.
Babalik tayo natin. Kasi ang sa akin naman is, gagawin natin, we will get more public utilities na mga bus para instead ng 10 sasakyan, isang bus lang ang naglalaman ng mga tao. Kaya we will improve our highways, we will improve also. And nakikita natin ang Victory Liner, Joy bus na nag-i-improve sila. If we encourage all these kinds of mass transportation para mabawasan ang vehicle na pagpasok dito, then we will also addressing the problem on traffic. Kaya sabi ko, it's the idea that I like. But
the idea of managing and addressing the traffic problem.
regulating the entry of vehicles.
Aha.
So, if they do not like it to be implemented in Session Road, sabi ko, kukontra kaya sila pag implement natin sa pagpasok nila sa mga city limits natin?
Always the devil's advocate talaga itong si Attorney Joe.
Sa akin guys, pag-usapan natin muna, huwag tayong nagkukondem. Hindi pa natin alam. Honestly, ako hindi ko alam ang component niyan. Kasi
So pag-aralan muna bago batikusin.
Kasi nga, ganyan ang itsura. Kami ay magiging judge, di ba? We have the ultimate say on whether or not it will be approved.
Yes.
Mahirap na malalaman namin kaagad at babatikusin namin kaagad kasi it's unfair. People would like to come and invest. They will not also come to fool us, and that is when they try to fool us, we will not allow them to fool us.
So that's looking at these issues with the bigger picture. Ika nga.
O kaya nga, ang gumawa ng batas naman is the congressmen.
babalik tayo doon talaga.
Kaya I have a healthy dialogue with Attorney Dizon, who is very against it. Kaya itong mga idea, proceed to him. Siyempre, meron siyang misgiving sa batas. Sabi ko, huwag natin sisihin ang City of Baguio kung ang batas ay parang Presidential Decree 1818 na sabi na bawal ang magpa-injunction sa mga infrastructure project, bawal ang mag-injunction sa isang PPP project. Sino sisisihin natin kung hindi yung mga gumawa, di ba?
Marami talagang kailangan na pag-usapan at pagdebatihan. Your last words, sir, to our viewers and to the citizenry of Baguio, who may not know the entire issues but knows that something is brewing in the city. Ano po ang mensahe natin sa ating mga mamamayan?
Ang sa akin po ay pasensya na kayo kung tayo ay vocal kasi we have reached the proper age na we are no longer after any crown or money because we are about to go already to the next world. But we want to leave a legacy that what we have been fighting for when we were younger. And hope to see that our officials who will be elected into office will be of the same kind na hindi na ito sa pansarili or sa pampamilya kundi para sa taga Baguio. Kaya we should look into the goodness of the people of Baguio. Noon, Governor, ang kuya ko sa Benguet, it would not be nice na tumatakbo akong mayor sa Baguio. I waited for my brother to finish his term, and after he finished his term, that's the only time that I came to Baguio, and also offered my help to my fellow Ibaloys in the first place, whom I saw to have been suffering injustice regarding their land rights. And I used to just enjoy going to the United Nations, attending the crafting of the so-called Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. But whenever I go back to the city, I hear complaints until I was also a victim of J-Dwell. So I questioned what are all of this, and then I saw the trend of privatization. So I might as well join. And I'm thankful that the first time I ran, I won as a city councilor because of the support of the community, of my advocacy. So for me to keep quiet now because I want to be a number one councilor, not to offend anybody. I'm sorry, that is not my ambition. My simple ambition is my advocacy before and now. I am having it realized through other people who are more capable. That's why I relegated myself to be more supportive of the mayor and the vice mayor. I was also supportive of the congressman. Unfortunately, as I said, I campaigned for him when he won. The people who were opposing him then are now his companions, and us who brought him into that position are no longer with him. So you can see the irony. People change when they are already there. Diba? So yun ang sa amin naman, we never change. We speak the same thing when we were in the minority. We are now speaking the same thing as a majority. So when you are also in that kind of a dynamic, syempre, there will be frustrations, but we continue because the people who believe in us are still there and still believe in us. So we should not let them down. We should not betray them. That's why I think the city charter, revised city charter, is a betrayal of trust. We trusted that our lawyer, our representative to Congress, would do us, make laws for us, not make laws for our opponents. Thank you.
Maraming salamat po, Attorney Joe. And through the years, of course, Attorney Joe is a known human rights defender and also our representative to the UN many, many years ago. And he has seen both sides as being part of the minority on his first salvo as councilor and now part of the majority sa comeback niya, and also our number one councilor based on the last election. Number two pala. Pero sa puso ng mga supporter niya, number one kasi. So ganyan po. Maraming salamat, Attorney Joe, and we hope to have you back. Hopefully, may katandem na po kayo para dire-diretso po ang ating palitan ng insights at sagutan. So thank you, and that is another episode of The Breaking Point, when we talk about issues before it reaches the breaking point para maintindihan ng lahat. Maraming salamat po, and until the next episode.
Thank you.
Grabe.